Hi, it's Layperson Lisa. Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show. Today we continue our reflection series on water, and today is about smooth water. So many times in our lives, when things are going well, it's easy to give thanks and praise to God when the waters are smooth. But so often in our lives, that's not how life is. Things get choppy. Water gets choppy. There's storms in our lives. There's trials. There's sufferings. There's affliction. And that's when we can often say, okay, Lord, where are you in this? And sometimes when we're going through this time, we may feel very distant from God. And that is actually when he's the closest to us. When we're going through some sort of trial or suffering, when the water is not smooth, when we can't see him, that's when he's the closest, because he's carrying us. And it's important to, I was just texting back with someone because God put them on my heart, and I reached out to them, and she said that this month has been very stressful and that she's lost her joy. And there's a difference between joy, and there's a difference between joy and happiness. And happiness is situational. Happiness is a feeling, whereas joy is a disposition that we might not be happy, but we can still be joy-filled. And that's when the things in our lives are hard. You know, in St. Paul's Romans 5, he talks about how affliction, we should be thankful for our afflictions because they build character, which builds endurance, which builds perseverance, which gives us hope in Jesus. And so often we can put hope in ourselves, like, oh, I need to take care of this. How can I fix this? We put hope in other people. And that's when we can get disappointed. But the hope that comes from Jesus does not disappoint. He's always there. And we have to remember that, to be thankful for God's presence in our lives, in the smooth water, but also in the choppy water, to thank him for the little blessings. And it might be that's what we need to look for in those situations. Okay, like, I'm grateful that it's a beautiful day. Maybe I'm not going through something so good in my life, but it's a beautiful day. And I thank God for the sun shining down upon me. The S-U-N, but the S-O-N is also shining down upon me. And just to remember that God's presence, even though we don't feel it, not to focus on feelings, but to focus on the truth. And the truth is that we are shrines of the Trinity, that he dwells in our heart. And when things are not going smooth, that is when he is just holding on to us. That is when he's carrying us. And that's maybe why we can't feel his presence, because he's uplifting us. He's supporting us. And to just pray to have a deeper trust and dependency on him, and to have that disposition of joy that does not tremble in hard times. Because there's a book on patience, and we're doing a series on patience after the first of the year. And the 6th degree of patience is to suffer not quietly, but joyfully. And so no matter what we're going through, our joy can be in our heart because Jesus is in our heart. And just to remember that. And so when things are going smoothly, when you're on that smooth water, what are you being thankful for? When things get a little choppy, remember that the same God that you were just thanking for all those blessings is still there. He's holding on to you, and we can thank him for loving us, for choosing to suffer for us, for holding us up, for being our strength, and for being our joy.